Good morning, students. This is your fourth lecture of pharmacology and toxicology. Today's topic is journal mechanism of drug action. So, basically, what is mechanism of drug action? It comes under the topic pharmacodynamics. So, what is pharmacodynamics? We have already discussed in our previous lectures that pharmacodynamics, we can take it in one sentence, that is what drug does to the body. Once the drug has entered into the body, what effects or what changes it will bring out inside the body. So what is pharmacodynamics? It is the study of mechanism of action of drug and pharmacological effects produced on the human body. Pharmacodynamics is the study of biochemical and physiological effects of drugs and their mechanism of action. It is also concerned with correlation of pharmacological action and chemical structure of the drug. So next, now coming to the definition of main topic, that is action of drug. It is the process by which the drug or chemical substance induces change in the pre-existing physiological function of the living organism. That means what changes or what chemical changes that drug will bring once it has entered to the body. Okay, now coming to the next slide, what it is, effect of drug. Now the science of changes occurs after drug action is called effects of drug. For example, in case of fever, the body temperature, first of all, what happens when body temperature rises? Evaluated increased above normal body temperature, in tablet acetaminophen or paracetamol, what we say, antipyretic drug is administered. Okay, so whenever a person suffers from fever, what we will give, recommend him, a doctor will recommend to take paracetamol. Okay, so it gets disintegrated once it is taken orally. It gets disintegrated, it gets absorbed. Okay, then acts on heat regulating centers. Now that drug is acting on heat regulating centers. It lowers the raised body temperature to normal body temperature. When this drug is administered to a person individual with normal body temperature, it does not cause hypothermia, brings no change into the drug. So basically what happens, whenever there is a diseased condition, whenever there is a problem inside a body, we administer a drug, it acts on the problematic areas. But if we administer that same drug to a normal person, there is no problematic area, so effect of that drug would be nothing. Okay, now what is site of action? The location of the body or skin surface when the drug produces its action is called site of action. Now the site of action can be of three types. Basically, which one? First is local action, second is systemic action, third is the body, not in the tissue. Okay, now let's go in the definition of all three. First is local action. It is the action produced by a dog on by a drug on the site of application. Sorry, there is a mistake. By a drug on the site of application. For example, action on skin or mucous membrane where the drug is applied. Second is systemic action. It is the action produced on different organs after absorption of drug into systemic circulation. Third is, means first is local action, means locally we have to give. Okay, systemic action means action in the circulatory system through blood. Third is in body, not in the tissue. Drug used against intestinal worms, microorganism, in ectoparasites. Okay, so the drug affects the invading organisms. So in this what happens, the drug is given to the person, but it is not acting to its tissues, means it is not acting on his own body, but it is acting on the foreign worms or foreign parasites that has invaded into the body. Okay, so the drug has indirect action. The action kills the disease causing invading organism, have no action on tissue, and makes the host to normal health condition. Okay, now coming to replacement therapy. What is replacement therapy? Now, what is replacement therapy? When there is certain deficiency in the cells or host body, for example, electrolytes deficiency, vitamins, hormones, or blood deficiency, the administration of electrolytes, vitamins, hormones, fluids, etc. is called as replacement therapy. Okay, now next is what is mechanism of action of drugs. What exactly does it mean and what things come under this topic? Now, the mechanism of drug action can be divided into two groups. First is mechanism of action of a drug due to its physical and chemical properties, and second is due to biological properties. Now, the action of drug may be primary action or secondary action. Okay, now what is primary action of a drug? It is the effect of unchanged drug in the body. And what is secondary action of drug? It is the action of drug when it is biotransformed, metabolized during the after absorption, and its metabolites produces action. So basically what happens, if the drug is already in a active act as a is a active constituent, it will directly go and show its action. But if a drug is not an active constituent and it has to be converted into an active constituent by certain enzymes of liver or stomach or intestine, then what will happen? The drug would be given wherever the enzyme and they meet up, the drug would be converted into active constituents, and further changes or further responses would be created by the byproducts of the drug. Okay, now coming to the first part, that is action of drug due to physical and chemical properties. The drug which cause cell death and lysis, for example, is of silver nitrate, strong acids, alkalis. The drugs are called uh, caustics. Okay, the drugs which produce local inflammation are called a counter irritant, for example, liniments. Drugs which kill microorganisms by indirect action are called as disinfectants, for example, boric acid, potassium permanganate. And next, the action of saline purgative is due to their osmotic property, for example, magnesium sulfate, lactulose. Next is activated charcoal mm, absorbs twins or poisons in the gastrointestinal tract and inhibits odor absorption of toxins. So basically what happens, whenever some patient, some person ingests poisonous substances, we can give charcoal to him or her. So what will happen, charcoal will absorb that toxins or absorb that poisonous substance to itself, and that can be removed, charcoal can be removed by vomiting. Okay, so such drugs are called absorbents. Next is astringents. Some drugs produce protective action by causing participation of proteins and surface proteins at the surface. For example, mucosa of gut. These drugs are called astringents. And next is lipid solubility. The drugs such as volatile anesthetics produce their action by entering into nerve cells. More the lipid solubility, more will be the effect or potency. Okay, so these are some types of drugs that show their action due to physical and chemical properties. Okay, Now coming to the drugs that show their mechanism of action due to biological properties, it is first is receptor. Receptor is fundamental tissue component unit in which the drug molecules interact to produce its mechanism of action. Okay, so what will happen, the tissue component and the drug molecule, they will interact to produce biological effect. It should be kept in mind that the drug cannot produce any response which is not shown by its tissue. Means if a tissue is not responding, the drug can't act on that tissue or can't show its action. So over here we have some categories. First is agonists. What are agonists? These terms are very important for examination point. Agonist is a drug which combines with the unit's receptors and produces response in the tissue in which the receptor is located. So for example, if we are giving a agonist, it will act same as a drug. So a drug which is showing action on the tissue, if we give its agonist, it will show the same action on that same tissue. Now what is antagonism? It is the drug which when administered either decreases or completely abolishes, and sorry, that is antagonism. Now let me explain in basic language what happens. Like agonist was the drug or the substituent that is showing same action, and what is antagonism, the substituent that is showing reverse action or just decreasing the action of the main constituent. So it is the drug which when administered either decreases or completely abolishes the response of the agonist. The agonist is of two types, reversible and irreversible agonist. Now pharmacological antagonism. Both reversible and non-reversible types of antagonism are called pharmacological antagonism. For example, antihistamine drugs block the action of histamines. Okay, now physical antagonism, the removal tree from the poison by absorbent like charcoal or in the gut is an example of physical antagonism. Chemical antagonism, the okay, in chemical antagonism, whenever the structure of a medicine or a structure of a drug or chemical constituent is changed, it will change its action with the change in structure of the drug. For example, as we have seen in cetirizine, when cetirizine was in market, it was showing its side effects, that was oversleeping. Okay, oversleepiness was seen, but when levorotatory structure of cetirizine was introduced, its side effects were diminished. So there is changes in chemical structure. Okay, now coming to affinity of drug. It is defined as the ability of drug to occupy and activate the receptors. So basically, when a drug is entering into the body, it has to reach a certain receptors, and what the amount of affinity or amount of attraction power the drug have with the receptors, more and more response would be created, more and more action can be seen with increase in the affinity or attraction. Now what is median effect dose of effect or ED50? It is the dose of drug which produces useful effects in 50% of animals. Okay, now median lethal dose, it is the dose of a drug which kills 50% of experimental animals of organisms. After that, what is therapeutic index? It is the ratio of LD50 and ED50. Now, what are the factors modifying the dosage of drugs? The following are the factors which modify the dosage of the drug. First is age, sex, body weight, route of administration, idiosyncrasy, physical conditions, addiction, tolerance, pathology, state, time, genetic factors. Okay, so first of all, coming to age. So, coming to age, what happens? Infants and children require less dose, therefore, different dose for adults is required. Okay, so as we have seen in pharmacokinetics also, that these all factors were influencing the action. Over here also, same factors are responsible for action or modification of the action. In age, what happens in children or in pediatric population, enzymes have not grown yet properly, so action would be modified of the normal dose. And in geriatrics, the enzymatic action has decreased by time, so again modification would be there. Okay, now coming to second, that is sex. The gender, male individuals require large dose or drug is comparison to female. Okay, in this gender, what happens? The male and female have um, certain changes, certain inter-individual changes, due to which the dose of drug has to be modified with the gender. Also, there is a certain time in females life that the women can be pregnant, and during that time the dose of drug has to be monitored very carefully in respect to the growth of fetus. Okay, next is body weight. Body weight, definitely it changes the uh, action of drug. The drug dose of drug is usually related to body weight. A person of overweight obese individual require large dose than the normal individual. The drug resolve fat soluble, then more portion of dose is accumulated in the body fat, so large dose is required for fatty individuals. The dose of drug is usually expressed as mg per kg of body weight. A person with underweight requires smaller doses. So as we have seen that the drugs has to cross the double lipid bilayers. So if a person is obese, so there would be more lipid bilayers, means lipids has increased. So maximum drugs which are lipophilic, what will happen? They will accumulate in the fat cells and they won't move in, or the distribution of that drug won't be too much. So that's why the obese patients have to be given larger doses of drugs. Next is route of administration. Now, the drugs, when administered by intravenous and intramuscular route, requires less dose in comparison to oral dose, definitely because of bioavailability. We have already discussed. The drugs given by IM or IV route have quick onset of action, again due to bioavailability. The action by mouth oral route is delayed and slow. The drug given by rectal route are absorbed slowly, and when a part of drug is absorbed, so large dose is required by this route. Next is idiosyncrasy. Now, what is idiosyncrasy? Now, basically, what happens? Every individual has their own mechanism of response. Means their body's response towards any drug may vary from individual to individual. Now, sometimes it happens. The 500 mg paracetamol, if it is affecting me very well, it may not affect the second individual that well, or it may not even show a single percent response. So this is idiosyncrasy, when the response is unknown, means either the response would be there or what the response would be there, that is unknown to us. Okay, when abnormal drug response occurs, is in an individual, the condition is known as idiosyncrasy. Person reacts violently to certain drugs in unusual way because an usual dose of drug dose may have toxic effect to an individual, whereas same dose may have usual effects normal to another individual. Coming to next point, physical condition. A patients with distressing symptoms need large dose of drugs. Okay, if the patient is having showing distressing symptoms, they require more doses. Now coming to addiction, it is a behavioral pattern of compulsive drug abuse. Okay, so if the patient has its mindset that a certain drug, he requires certain drugs in abnormal amount or abnormally he is taking it every day, that is addiction. Prolonged regular use of alcohol, narcotics like morphine, heroin, cocaine causes habituation, uh, habituation and results in conditions known as addiction. When such drugs is withdrawn, cut off withdrawal symptoms appear like psychic craving, body ache, insomnia, restlessness, etc. Okay. Now next is tolerance. When a drug is administered regularly to a patient for a long period, it becomes necessary to increase the dose. For example, as we have seen in our past few years, not few, in past many years, that first of all paracetamol 350 was sufficient for the patient, then paracetamol 500 came, now paracetamol 650 came, and some parts even paracetamol 1000 days has been started to be given. So time with time the tolerance of that drug is increasing in our body is becoming habitual for the drug. So a patient develop tolerance, a condition of taking excess dose without producing symptoms of toxicity of drug. To produce same effect in the body, a large dose is required. The tolerance of drug usually disappears on withdrawal of drug. Okay. Now pathology state. A pathological condition of liver and kidney is very important. Liver is the main site of detoxification of drugs. So in case of any disease of liver of action, sorry disease of liver, the action of drug is decreased. When there is any dysfunction of kidney, which is the main organ of excretion of excretion, the action of drug is delayed because of slow excretion of the drug. In case of the inflammation of intestine, due to some case that results decreased absorption of the drug when administered orally by mouth. So what mainly basically what has been told in this para, that when we are taking the drug from mouth, okay, if it has the main part of absorption is intestine. If intestine is diseased or intestine is inflated, so what will happen, absorption would be delayed and action of drug or drug action would be delayed. Normal, simple. Okay. If our liver has been diseased, so what liver do, it creates a first pass metabolism, that means it detoxifies the drug. Okay. So as we know that we have given over drug, why, because we know already that some of the drug would be detoxified by the liver and only some of the amount would reach the liver. Okay. So now what will happen, if the liver is diseased, whole of the drug may be passed on to the circulatory system and it will produce toxic effects in the system. Okay. And same, if our kidney is diseased, what will happen, it will not let the toxic substances or drug to excrete out. Okay, if the drug is not excreted out, that means it has accumulated inside the kidneys, and accumulation inside the kidneys would cause toxicity. So pathological state should be monitored. Next is time. Now the time of administration is highly important. In empty stomach, drugs are more quickly absorbed. Okay, because if there is a food in stomach and the stomach is empty, what will happen? In full stomach, food has to be absorbed, drug has to be absorbed, so absorption process would be adequate, would be slow. But if the stomach is slow, what will happen? The absorption process would be fast. Food in stomach may cause affect absorption of drug. The diuretics are administered in morning or not, and not in evening, as it requires the use of toilet several times for micturition. So during the night, sleep of individual may be disturbed. Next is genetic factors. Now what comes in genetic factors? Pharmacogenetics is the branch of pharmacology which deals with genetic variations in response to drugs. It has been reported that due to genetic variations, the deficiency of glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase in certain race results in increased toxicity to primaquine, an anti-malarial drug. Okay. Next example, due to genetic variations in few individual, isoniazid, a antituberculotic drug, is fastly acylated, and in some acylated in some patients. It is slow acylated, leading to more chances of deficiency of vitamin B. The cause peripheral neuritis. More examples, that is, okay. Now coming to effect of drugs on the body. First is therapeutic effects. It is the effect which is desired to cure disease. For this reason, a drug is administered to a patient. The drug medicines are administered for uh, following reasons. Okay, to maintain mental health, the medicines are given to individual to increase resistance against diseases. For example, administration of vitamins. Next is to prevent diseases. Vaccines and antitoxins are administered, for example BCG, to report against to protect against tuberculosis. Okay, TT, what is TT? It donates for tetanus injections against tetanus. Next is diagnosis of diseases. Barium is used in X-ray investigations. Certain drugs are given for temporary relief of uh, distressing symptoms, but cannot cure the disease. For example, analgesics. Cure of disease by supplying hormone deficient in the body, for example insulin. To destroy disease causing organism, for example quinine, in the treatment of malaria. Third, by restoring normal functions, for example digoxin. Fourth, by counteracting with a toxic substance or poison in the body with antidote. Next, second point, that is local and systemic effect. So, when a drug is applied locally, therefore topically, to the skin or mucous membrane, it produces an effect. For systemic use, drugs must be absorbed into the bloodstream to produce the desired effect in various systems and various parts of the body. Third, that is toxic effects. Larger or higher dose of the drug in the bloodstream produces toxicity. Some of toxic effects are fatal for the patient. Toxicity develops due to cumulative effect of the drug when body or a person is unable to metabolize the previous dose of drugs. We have already seen these points in one another way in previous lectures and even in today's lecture. Fourth is side effects. There are effects other than the main action desired, which are as under. First is allergic reaction. When a drug is administered to the patient, individual may react to a drug as a foreign body and may develop reaction like skin rash, itching over body, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, etc. Next is anaphylaxis. It is severe reaction marked by fall in blood pressure, local edema, pallor, and dyspnea, restlessness, prickling effect in throat, edema of face, bands may follow in few minutes. Penicillins and sera be administered after sensitivity test has been done. Okay, now further, pruritus. What is pruritus? It is the itching of skin with or without skin rash. Urticaria, edematous pinkish elevation with itching occur over the body due to reaction of the drug. Rhinitis. What is rhinitis? It is excessive water discharge from the nose. What tears? Excessive tears from the eyes. Nausea and vomiting occurs. Diarrhea may occur due to irritation of intestinal mucosa. Then dyspnea, shortness of breath and wheezing due to laryngeal edema is developed. Effects on cardiovascular system. The drug may cause hypotension, or a cardiac arrhythmias. Arrhythmia is a change in the rate, rhythm, and volume of the pulse. Pulse may become irregular, thin, and thready. Effect of urinary system. Certain drugs may cause renal damage, kidney damage, characterized by hematuria, anuria, and oligouria. Okay, now 7th point, effect on blood. Drug may cause aplastic anemia, thrombocytopenia, leukopenia, etc., causing their side effects on circulatory system. 8th point, effects on CNS. Drug may stimulate the cause depression to the central nervous system. The drugs may affect GIT and may cause nausea, vomiting. Drugs may also cause diarrhea or constipation or small bowel ulcerations. So by this we end today's lecture. So